Hello, my name is Kira and today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet this adorable lion. I'm so excited to share this pattern with you guys because I think it's absolutely adorable. If you're a beginner, go ahead and check out the videos I've linked below with tutorials for a magic ring and all of the basic stitches that will be used in this pattern. Let's go ahead and get started. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make the lion's head as well as some other simple details on his body. But to make the body, I'm going to put another video up on the screen in just a second, or you can find the link in the description and it will take you to a video that shows you how to make this body. However, it might be using some different colors, so you want to make sure that you are following all the same steps, but use colors that correlate to the animal you're making, in this case a lion. So when you're making your body, you want to make sure to be using a tan colored yarn. The yarn that I'm using is Big Twist Posh yarn in the color Croissant, Big Twist Baby Bear in the color Vanilla Cake for the bottoms of the hands and feet as well as the nose. And then this darker brown color is Big Twist Baby Bear in the color Brown Sugar, and I'm using this for the toes as well as the hair on my lion. And then just to make some details on the face, I used a medium weight dark brown yarn here.
For supplies, you will also need a pair of scissors, a stitch marker, and an embroidery needle, 20mm safety eyes, a 5mm crochet hook or whichever hook size works best for your yarn, and some polyfill stuffing.
So once you have finished watching that video and your body is all finished, then you will come back to this one and I will show you how to make the lion's head and finish up the details on the body and put the whole thing together. So I will see you back here in just a second. So the first thing we're going to do is make the lion's ears. So you want to start by making 6 single crochet in a magic ring. And then for the next round, I'm just going to make 6 increase stitches all the way around. And remember, an increase stitch is just 2 single crochet into the same stitch. So 2 single crochet into the same stitch, and I'm just going to repeat that all the way around. And then for this next round, we are going to start by making 3 slip stitches. And this, where we make our slip stitches, this will be the bottom of the ear. So 3 slip stitches. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then in this next stitch here, we're gonna make 3 single crochet all into this same stitch. So I'm just gonna make 1, and then again in the same stitch, 2 single crochet, and then 1 more, 3 single crochet in the same stitch. And then I'm going to make 3 single crochet in the next 3 stitches, so 1, 2, 3, and then another 3 single crochet in 1 stitch, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 more single crochet down the side. And then in this last stitch, again, 3 single crochet into the same stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and then just to finish this off, I'm going to make a slip stitch in this next stitch here. And then you can go ahead and tie off your yarn. You don't need to worry about leaving a tail because these will be crocheted into our head. I'm gonna take this string that I have left over from my magic ring and use my embroidery needle to just thread it down to the bottom of the ear so that it gets stitched into the head. Just like that. So here's one of my ears all completed, and once you have one ear done, you want to go ahead and repeat all the same steps to make a second ear for your lion. And then you can just set these aside until we need them when we start working on the head. So the first thing we're going to do is start making the lion's head, and you just want to start by making 6 single crochet in a magic ring. So for the next round, we're gonna make 6 increases, but instead of regular increases, we're gonna be doing loop stitches for the next several rounds actually to create the hair on the lion. So I'm gonna show you how to make a loop stitch. And to start, you just wanna take some yarn and pull up a loop with your thumb, just like this. So I've just created this loop here, and I'm gonna go on the left side of this yarn that I've pulled up, on the left side into my stitch, and then just make a normal single crochet. And that's 1 loop stitch. So I'll do it again here, just using my thumb to pull up a loop, and then I'm going to go on the left side of this loop into my stitch, and in this case it's the same stitch because we're making increases, and then make a normal single crochet. So there is 1 of my increases with my loop stitches, and I'm going to repeat this 5 more times all the way around. Okay, so here is my 6 increased loop stitches, and for the next rounds you're just going to keep working on the stitches here that are visible to you, because these are turned out to the front side, so these will be facing outwards. And I'm just going to place my stitch marker in here, and then for the next round we're going to make 1 single crochet and then an increased stitch, and repeat that 6 times around, but these are also going to be loop stitches. So just 1 single crochet, loop stitch, and then an increase loop stitch, and then I'm just going to repeat this all the way around. For the next round, we're going to do 2 single crochet and then an increased stitch, and repeat that 6 times all the way around. But again, we're still doing loop stitches. So 1, 2 loop stitches, and then an increased stitch with the loop stitches, and then I'm just going to repeat that all the way around. For the next round, we're going to make 3 single crochet and then an increased stitch and repeat that 6 times all the way around. However, you want to continue to do your loop stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and then an increase. Into that same stitch. There we go. And then just repeat this all the way around. For the next round, you are going to make 4 single crochet and then an increased stitch and repeat that 6 times all the way around, continuing to do your loop stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then an increase. And then just repeat that all the way around. Okay, so we will have one more round of increases. So you're going to do 5 single crochet and then an increased stitch. And again, still doing your loop stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then an increased stitch. And then you're just going to repeat that all the way around. Okay, for the next round we are going to make 42 single crochet around, and you are still going to do your loop stitches. So 42 single crochet loop stitches, and I'm going to go ahead and do this round off camera, but I will be back once I have that finished to show you what to do next. So I have just finished my 42 loop stitches around. And in this next round, we are going to be crocheting the ears into the head as we make the round. So before you do anything with the ears, you just want to start by making 11 single crochet still doing your loop stitches, so 11 loop stitches. And then after you've done your 11 loop stitches, you can grab one of your ears So I have my pretty side facing up for my head here. And this is the back of the head that we're looking at. And I'm going to put my pretty side of my ear facing up, but I have the bottom of my ear that I'm going to line up with my stitches here. And then I'm going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 single crochet through both the ear and the head. And these are just regular single crochet. You do not need to do loop stitches for these 5 stitches. So I'm just going to grab a stitch from the ear and then go into my next stitch on the head and then just make a normal single crochet. So I'm just going to do this 5 times to attach my ears to my head. So there's 2. I know it can be a little bit tricky, but here's 3. 4. And one more is 5. And then I'm going to go back to making my loop stitches, and I'm going to make 9 loop stitches. And then after my 9 loop stitches, I'm going to attach my other ear the exact same way. So I'm just going to line up this bottom part of the ear with my head and then make 5 single crochet through both pieces. So there's 1. So now I have both my ears attached, and then to finish off the round, I'm just going to make 12 more loop stitches. For the next round, you're going to want to make another 42 loop stitches around, and this is our last round of loop stitches. So once we get this round completed, then we'll be back to just doing regular single crochet. So again, you want to do 42 loop stitches around, and in the last stitch of that round, we will be changing colors, but I'm going to go do my 42 single crochet off camera, and then I will come back to show you when I change my colors. So I have just finished my last round of 42 loop stitches, and in the last stitch of this round we are going to be changing colors to the body color. So this lighter tan color is what I'm using here, and I'm just going to change colors. And then for this next round, I'm just going to start by making 7 regular single crochet. So 1, 2, and then I'm just going to make 1 decrease stitch. And then I'm going to make another 22 single crochet across the top here. And then I'm going to make another decrease stitch. And then just finish off the round with 9 single crochet. For the next round, I'm going to start by making 6 single crochet. And then I'm going to make 1 decrease stitch. And then I'm going to do 3 single crochet and then a decrease stitch 4 times. So 3 single crochet, there's 1, 2, and 3, and then a decrease stitch. And then I'm just going to repeat that 3 more times across the top of the head here. And then I'm going to do 2 single crochet, 2 decrease stitches, and then just finish off the round with 6 single crochet. For the next round, I'm going to start by making 2 single crochet, and then 1 decrease stitch, and then I'm going to make 5 more single crochet. And then across the top here, I'm going to make 1 decrease stitch and then 3 single crochet 3 times. So 1 decrease stitch, and then 3 single crochet, 1, 2, and 3, and then I'm going to repeat that 2 more times. And then I'm going to make 5 more single crochet, another decrease stitch, and then I'm just going to finish off the round here with 2 single crochet. For the next round, I'm going to make 8 single crochet, and then I'm going to do 2 decrease stitches right here. So there's 1 and then 2. And then I'm just gonna make 4 single crochet across the top. And then 2 more decrease stitches. And then finish off the round with 8 single crochet. So I just realized that I lost a bunch of footage right about like in here in the faces where it cut off. So it's okay because I'm actually working on making a female version of this same lion, and the whole face is the exact same. The only difference in the two is that these stitches up here are loop stitches. So I'm gonna put in the footage I have of me making that one, and you just wanna follow all the same steps and your lion will turn out looking just like this. But I'm very sorry for the switch up on you guys here. Okay, for the next round, you're gonna do 11 single crochet, and then 1 decrease stitch, and then another 11 single crochet. So 11 single crochet and then 1 decrease stitch. And then another 11 single crochet. In the last stitch of this round, we are going to change colors to a cream colored yarn or whichever color you would like to use for the nose. For this next round, I'm just going to make 23 single crochet using my white yarn or cream colored yarn. For the next round, I'm going to make 2 single crochet and then a decrease stitch, and I'm going to repeat that pattern 5 times, and then when I get to the end of the round, I'm just going to do 1 single crochet and a decrease stitch. So you'll do 1, 2 single crochet and then a decrease. And I'm going to repeat that 4 more times. And then at the end of the round here, I'm just making 1 single crochet and then a decrease stitch. So now is when I like to start stuffing the head and add in my safety eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and stuff it first. I like to add stuffing before I put on the eyes just so I have a better idea of where the eyes will sit on the head. Okay, so now my head is all stuffed and I'm going to go ahead and add my safety eyes. So for my safety eyes, I'm going to, you can see where I started using my white yarn here. I'm going to go up 1 full row of the brown, so right here, and then I'm going to place my safety eyes in between these 2 rows here. and I want them to be 7 stitches apart. So again, you might have to play around with your eyes a little bit until you're happy with where they are placed. But once you have them where you like them, you can go ahead and pop the backings onto them. And then we're going to close up our nose here. So the next round, we're gonna do 1 single crochet and then a decrease stitch 5 times. And then when you get to the end of the round, you're just gonna do 1 decrease stitch. So 1 single crochet and a decrease. And then I'm going to repeat that around until I get to my last 2 stitches. And then when I get to my last 2 stitches here, I'm just going to make a decrease stitch. So now you want to go ahead and add any more stuffing that you want in your nose. And then for our last round of the nose, I'm just going to make 5 decrease stitches and then 1 single crochet. And then you can go ahead and tie off your yarn. And you do not need to leave a tail because we're just going to close this gap up and then tuck this in. So what you do have left, you will thread onto your embroidery needle. And I'm just going to thread this in and then back out through all 6 of my stitches that I have left in this round. So I'm just kind of weaving in and out here, going around and making sure to get each stitch. And then after I've gone through all 6 stitches, I'm just going to pull this tight to close that hole up. And then you can just kind of tuck this back into the head to close that up there. And then I'm just going to weave this in. Here is your head all completed. We are going to do some shaping to the face to bring these eyes together, bring the nose down a little bit to help kind of squish the muzzle. So you want to take a scrap piece of your body colored yarn and just thread this onto your embroidery needle here. And then I'm going to insert this at the top inside corner of my eye and over to the top inside corner of my other eye. And I'm going to pull it through, but making sure to leave a little bit of a tail over here. And then I'm going to go into the bottom inside corner of this eye here, over to the bottom inside corner of my other eye. So you've kind of created this loop here. And you want to go ahead and pull this tight. And then with these 2 tails here, I'm going to tie them together, and this is going to help bring our eyes closer together. So the tighter you tie it, the closer together they will be, and that is, feel free to tie it as tight as you'd like. And then I'm just going to weave in these ends. So I have another scrap piece of yarn here that I'm going to thread onto my embroidery needle. And with this one, we are going to kind of push the nose down a little bit to almost squish our nose. So I'm going to go in at the bottom of, this is kind of like the chin area, and I'm going to go straight up to the bottom corner of one of my eyes. So I'm kind of coming out right at the bottom, around the bottom corner of the eye. Make sure you're on this body colored part and not on the white, but you want to be just on the edge of it. So I'm going to pull that through, leaving a little bit of a tail down here. I'm going to go all the way over to the inside corner of my other eye, and then go back down, and I'm going to leave about a stitch worth of space in between, whoops, my two tails. And then you can see my yarn here. So I have it, I'm going up, over, back down. And then you want to tie these two ends together, and it's going to bring the top of the nose down. You do want to tie this pretty tight. So as you pull, you can see it's kind of squishing this here to make it more of an oval shape. And I'm just going to tie this into a knot. And then weave these ends into the head. And don't worry about a dent here. This part is going to be covered up when you sew the head onto the body. And next I'm just going to add some little white details around the sides of my eyes. So to do this, I just have a scrap piece of my cream colored or nose colored yarn that I've been using. And I'm going to insert this at the top center of one of my eyes and bring it out to somewhere on the side of the head. And then pull my needle off that end. And I'm going to rethread it back onto this end. And then I'm going to go down to the bottom center of the eye and back out to the same place where you had your other end come out. Pull that tight, and as you can see, that just gives a little bit of a white detail around the eye. And then you can tie these two tails together and weave them into the head. And you want to make sure to repeat this on both eyes. So the next thing we're going to do is add the nose, and I'm going to show you how to make both of these noses so you can decide which one you prefer. So once you have decided which nose you want to make, you can go ahead and skip to the timestamp on the screen that shows you how to make each nose, and after that I will come back to show you what to do next. So for the first nose I'm going to show you, I just have some pink yarn here, and you do need a pretty good size piece. And I'm going to insert this into my nose in the top center-ish, 7 stitches or so wide. And I'm just gonna pull this. So I have my yarn pulled through, and I'm just going to go back into those same 2 spots and loop the pink yarn around a few times until I'm happy with how the nose looks. And then once I'm happy with how my nose looks, I'm going to thread my needle back into where it just came from and out about 1 stitch over from where we originally inserted our yarn. So I have moved my ends to a different stitch to tie them off so that my loop on the nose stays nice and secure. So I'm just going to tie these ends, cut off these tails, and weave them into the nose. So you could leave the nose like this if you want, or I am going to take a little bit of dark brown worsted weight yarn, thread this onto my needle, and I'm going to kind of outline the nose just to give it a little bit, make it a little bit more prominent. I'm going to insert my needle down here at the chin and have it come up the bottom center of my nose. Pull that through. And then I'm going to thread this to the corner where my nose, where my pink yarn is, and over to the other corner, like so. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Coming from this side, I'm going to go back into that center stitch and back down to the bottom where I first inserted it. And then just pull this tight here. So you can see I kind of outlined my nose a little bit. I'm just going to go back into that center loop and back down to the bottom one time to create a line here for the mouth. And then if you want, you can just tie these two ends off and weave them in. So that is another option for the nose. Here I have an orange version, and I'm going to show you how to embroider a nose using my worsted weight brown yarn. So to make this other version of the nose, I'm going to insert my yarn here around the center. And I'm going to go up diagonally about 2 to 3 rows up. I'm going to pull this through, and you will need a pretty big piece of yarn here. And then I'm going to go back into the center where we first started and up in diagonal the other direction. And pull that through. And then I'm going to go back to the center and straight upwards. So now you can see we've kind of created this V shape here, and this is going to be the outline of our nose. And then I'm just going to continue to thread my needle from the center up to different points along this line here until all of this is nice and filled in with the brown yarn. Okay, so now that I have that all filled in and I'm happy with how it looks, I'm just going to thread this back into the center and straight down the chin. And then I'm going to thread this other end here on my embroidery needle and do the same exact thing. Just thread it down from the center down to the bottom of the chin with my other tail. And then I'm just going to tie these two ends together and weave them into the head. So the next thing I'm going to do is show you how to make the tail, and you just want to start by making 5 single crochet in a magic ring. So to make the tail, I'm going to now make 10 rounds of 5 single crochet around. So I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 single crochet. But I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of these rounds off camera. You just wanna make, again, 10 rounds of 5 single crochet a round. So I just completed my 10 rounds of 5 single crochet a round, and I'm just gonna make 2 single crochet through the top here to close that tail off. And then you just want to leave a little bit of a tail so that we can sew this onto our body. So now I have my tail and I have it threaded onto my embroidery needle, and I'm just gonna line this up with where I want it on the body. So I think I want mine about here, and then I'm just gonna grab a stitch, go through a stitch on the tail and a stitch on the body and pull that through, just sewing this on in a couple different places. Alright, and then once you have your tail sewn on, you can just tie off this yarn and then tuck it into the body to kind of hide that and get it out of the way. The last step to our lion here is to sew on the head. So I just have this tail that we left on the body on my embroidery needle. And I am going to grab my head and kind of place it where I want it to sit, and then do my best to hold it in place. This is a little bit tricky with the loop stitches, but it shouldn't be too bad. So once I have my head where I want it, I'm going to go in here with my embroidery needle and just grab a stitch under the head and then pull that tight. Whoops. And then I'm going to grab a stitch from the body and just continue to grab a stitch from the head and then grab a stitch from the body all the way around until my head is attached where I want it to be. And just make sure that you're pulling that tight. If you are new to sewing, it's very helpful to check every once in a while to make sure that your head is still lined up where you want it as you're going around. But I'm just going to continue to grab a stitch from the back of the head and then a stitch from the body and pulling that tight until my head is all the way sewn on where I want it. Okay, so here is my sweet little lion all finished. I think this pattern is so cute. I cannot get over how cute it is. And we got like the whole head of hair back here, just absolutely adorable. If you made this pattern, I would love to see your photos of it, and you can tag me on Instagram at Crochet with Kira. I really hope you enjoyed making this pattern as much as I did, and I hope to see you again in another video.